Good morning, boys and girls. Well, good afternoon, rather. It is I, your boy, Trouble T Roy, Get Kicks Wholesale at gmail.com. GETKICKZ WHOLESALE at gmail.com. You already know the drill. This is another episode of Fraud Watch. I think I've been bringing them to you for about 7 weekdays straight now until we run out of ideas and concepts, but I'm looking to take it to the next level. I'm going to start going in like boutiques with authenticators soon, and we're going to do some challenging. So if you see your boy get carried out by security or thrown out like Jazzy Jeff on The Fresh Prince when Uncle Phil used to throw him out, you already know what the drill is, man. This is not only going to be a little entertaining, because I know I'm entertaining some folks, and the good thing is I'm entertaining you with truth. But again, it's also going to be educational because I want to bring this stuff out to you. And again, I really have a problem with people that make it difficult for us that, we sell too. And most of our prices are like significantly under reseller prices. So that's why they want to keep the business from coming to us, because they're going to lose money. But they don't understand market share and locale and all that good stuff. A lot of these people have no business savvy or business sense. But with that being said, today is episode 7 of Fraud Watch. And who is on the chopping block today? We have Yeezy Critics. Why did you choose Yeezy Critics today, Troy? Well, because this is one of the most difficult shoes to sell in the sneaker community, right? Or in the sneaker game. One of the most difficult to sell. And I'm being bothered by the glare in my glasses. So I know most of y'all don't see me outside of my glasses for the most part. But just in case you don't, this is what I look like. So, back to what I was saying. Yeezy Critics are on the chopping block. And the reason why is because Yeezys are one of the most sought after shoes on the market. Now, again, sometimes, and I have to give credit where credit is due, even if I put you on an episode of Fraud Watch, in some instances, fake education do point out some significant differences. Like I said, I give them that 30%. 30% of the time they do. 70% of the time they don't. And unfortunately, again, I have to pick on them a little bit more here because it's one of their recent posts on their Instagram. The zebras, the Yeezy, the 350 V2, they're calling them the zebras or whatever. They do this black light testing, and it's hilarious, to determine whether the shoe is real versus fake. And if the thread on the front of the shoe doesn't light up, then it's fake. If the thread on the back pull tab, the square part, doesn't light up, then it's fake. If you put it's UV lighting actually, which is still a black light, but you use the UV light to look through the boost. It's supposed to look a certain way. And on one of the posts, as I'm studying, I'm like, oh, okay. Initially, I'm like, okay, if it makes sense, it makes sense to me. Like, I analyze it, I process the information in my mind, and if it makes sense, I'll present it. But of course, I'll study multiple sources and do additional research, because I got to make sure it's something that makes sense before I present it to you guys as a whole. So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh, man, this is kind of interesting. But then, of course, I found something, a loophole, or rather, in their comparison. If you realize the black light test they do, look at the pictures closely on this zebra real versus fake comparison on Fake Education. The black light, you can obviously tell, is angled at one point on, I think it's like the shoe. When you're looking at it, you're going to be facing the shoe. It's going to be the right shoe. And you're going to see the front thread of the shoe light up in the SPLY 350 strip. That white strip light up. Now, mind you, the black light is angled towards that shoe. It's not over both shoes evenly or equally. So I'm thinking, if you go do that to the other shoe, the same thing will happen. So I don't see, like, that post now becomes invalid to me, because I can obviously see that you're shifting the light to make the light hit it a certain way. And then in some photos you can see the lighting, and I'm sure if you completely turn the light off, If you ever seen a black light or have black light posters or been in a club that has black light, when the regular lights are completely off, because that shoe is white, the whole shoe is probably going to shine. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to do an experiment to see. And I'll do a video of it. Of course, I'll bring you guys and I'll break it down for you and see if that's the case or not. So, they're killing me. And the real versus fake comparisons on Yeezys on YouTube are the most inconsistent thing I've ever seen. People are like, these are UA, these are retail. And they'll be comparing them and they'll be like, oh man, see the tip, the really corner of the 3 on the 350 is a blotch less than the one on I got from retail here. Really? Really? And you look at the comparisons, man, the pull tab, this little bit of threading on the pull tab is over into the black threading. So, oh man, I don't know. Let me take the insoles out. Oh man, they're almost exactly the same, except if you look, it looked like a mouse bit this one on the heel part, and they got a mouse tooth print. Like, they just freestyle and make stuff up, man. These people don't know any more about real or fake than you do. Or if I've taught you, or you've been watching my videos, you have one up on majority of the maybe 5-6 up on majority of the people that do this authentication process, even those in like the major boutiques. I'm giving you a lane to run in to be better and to know more than these cats that think they know so much, because you got to know how to challenge them, especially if you're selling a product and they're going to call it fake. The first thing, when somebody call your stuff fake, if you don't have the tough skin and you're faint of heart, it is going to break your soul. It will discourage you like a mug. I've been there until I started studying and learning for myself. Somebody can't call my stuff fake. Like, I know an obvious fake now. Like, I know what it is. And I know a flawed B-grade shoe. I know just a jacked up shoe. It's authentic and the production sucks. Shoes that reach retail that are like that. Like, I know because I study, and I always, most of my videos, I tell you guys, research and study for yourself, so that way you can develop that thick skin and that tough heart, that when somebody challenge your stuff, be like, yo, prove me wrong, or show me. This is one of my favorite questions. Show me yours. Give me a pair of yours so we can do a side-by-side comparison. Even though no two shoes are exactly alike, whether retail, or wholesale, no two sneakers are exactly alike. It's just, they're not. Sorry. Something's going to be different on the other pair. Again, does that make them fake? So, my thing is, these people that challenge your Yeezys, for the most part, like boutiques and authenticators, they don't even have them in hand. Like, the people that have them in hand have a little bit more of a valid argument, until I realize they have no clue what they're talking about, which, again, is the case a lot of Yeezy comparisons on YouTube videos. And that's any sneaker for the most part, but that part's neither here nor there. We're talking about Yeezys. So, because it's such a coveted after shoe and a limited shoe, quote unquote, the scope, the microscope is going to be more on these than any other shoe, than any other retailer general release. So, people are going to try to find a reason to make them unauthentic. They're going to try their hardest. And I understand to a degree, because people are reselling at $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for Yeezys. So I get that part. And but people pay it. I may not charge that much for mine, but that's me. And again, I'm honest with people. People know what they're getting. No, I don't necessarily give them like my wholesale information, but I let them check them out. I show them. Sometimes I do what they would consider real versus fake comparisons, and I point things out and things like that. Sometimes you may have to take that time to go over that with your customers, because as a customer, I understand, like, you don't want to spend all this money and you get a crazy shoe that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's all jacked up. Then nobody wants to spend that kind of money on a B grade, whether it's authentic or not. Think about it. Like, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a B grade. I want it to be as flawless as possible. So that's where you have to have the sharp eye to kind of keenly check and make sure that that's the case with your shoes. But Yeezy, oh my goodness, like the critics are horrible. Because let me give you some stats. These are Troy stats. I'm just using this from experience and what I've seen. I would say out of 100 people, 85 of these people that weigh in, that critique these Yeezy sneakers, has never seen a pair in person. 85 out of the 100. 15, maybe 20 people have, or have owned it, or have had it in hand. Out of those 15 or 20 people, 5 to 8 may have purchased them retail because of how hard they are to get retail. So that means the remainder, those additional 12 people, are fooling with a wholesaler. So of course they're going to sell them to those 80 to 85 people. Now, out of those 12 people, 2 to 3 are really big dogs. And we'll use the example like your Flight Clubs or your Soul Supremacies, those guys. So they're going to sell them regardless just because of their name. Their name holds all the weight. They sell the same thing we sell. They're consignment, just like most, if you have an LLC and you set it up, it just like the LLCs we set up. They've just built rapport. They were smart marketers. There you go. So nobody ever questions them because they built the name. They were marketing smart by getting celebrities, athletes and stuff involved, saying, hey, I'll do this for you if you support my brand. And they were smart marketers in building a brand that none of us can be mad at them for. The fact, that they lie in front, yeah. But again, that ain't going to stop the game from going to Flight Club in Cali because they built their brand. And I'll do another video on building brand, building your brand. That's going to be a more exclusive video because that information, I'm sorry to say it, is not for everybody. You have to have a certain mentality for that, to be really ready to take it to the next dimension for that. That may be in the package that I'm putting together. Because that, like I say, you got to be, talking about tough skin and not be faint at heart. You cannot, because you're going to go through some obstacles. As you can see, just as a reseller, or if you're just selling for a hobby, like you see the obstacles you go to just to make a couple bucks extra cash. So imagine it on a business level. So, but yeah, these Yeezy critics are the worst. Stop taking what they say to heart. Stop taking what these boutiques say to heart. They're not specialists. Remember, they were just like you and I before we even came in the sneaker game. So who put them on the game, to get them in? It was somebody had a mentor. Somebody has somebody to share something with them to kind of get them started. Or they got started on their own and they saw mistake, success. I'll stick with the success. Okay, this is working, this didn't work. All right, let's lose what's not working or tweak what's not working. That's all they did. You can do the same exact thing. Same exact thing. No different. So why not? But you know who it is, man. Don't worry about, it's like, stop weighing so much on what people say. Do your own research, man. Like, look, like, if you got to use comparison, especially, like I said, you got them in hand. Don't let people discourage you by saying your stuff is fake. Haters are everywhere. And the crazy thing about haters is I'm going to give you a golden nugget that a pastor told me maybe 5-6 years ago. All's jealousy and hate is hidden admiration. They just can't Admit that they like and admire what you're doing, so they hate on it. That's what jealousy is. That's what it is. So don't be broken or discouraged, because again, I've been there. I'm speaking from experience. I've had somebody tell me my shoe was fake, and I was like, oh man, I walked that with my head down. I ain't want to do this no more. And then I'm like, man, look, let me start researching and using common sense. And once I started doing that, man, it was a wrap. That's when I started finding out about these boutiques and all of this stuff, this information that I share with you. Through study, research, people rejecting me, telling me no. I found out all this great information off of a bad outcome initially. From people telling me no. Look at that. That's crazy. So whatever critics, whether it be Yeezy critics, Jordan critics, ASIC critics, NMD critics, whatever. Challenge them. Don't let them just say what they want. Challenge them. Because 9 times out of 10, your stuff is right. And they have no clue what they're talking about. Challenge them. I gave you the ammo. You know more. And watch when you really challenge them is when they start getting offended. Now, all of a sudden, they want to curse you out. If you know what you know, why you got to curse me out? If I know what I know and you telling me something, I'm not going to waste my time and try to curse at you and down you, because I know what I know. I'm confident in what I know. That means they lack confidence. Checkmate. You got him. It's your boy, man. Trouble T Roy. GetKicksWholesale@gmail.com. GetKicksWholesale@gmail.com. Instagram and Twitter, GetKicksWS and the number 1, GetKicksWS and the number 1. You know, handles the same for both Instagram and Twitter. You know, stay tuned, man. I got some dope things coming up the pike. And hey, we just trying to go to the top from here. You know what I'm saying? Peace.